tell me that your personal story. You were born and raised in Flint, and all the various things that you've done for work and in the community.
Yes, I was born here in the city of Flint. First of all, my name is Bryant Nolden. Everybody calls me BB. That's my nickname. I was born here in the city of Flint, May 31st, 1965, at Hurley Hospital. Born and raised over on Bundy Avenue. I still own the home that I was born and raised in, and also own 5 or 6 other houses now on that street, trying to, keep the street nice and pleasant, how I remember growing up. Um, I'm, a, I'm a graduate of Flint Central High School, class of 1983. I went away to college. I went to Lane College for about 2.5 years, and then I transferred to Central State University in Wilberforce, Ohio, where I received my bachelor's in science in elementary education, K-8 certification. And I then came back to the Flint area and started teaching with the Flint Community Schools. And I taught in the Flint Public Schools for 25 years, where I taught in elementary ed, and I also ran the after-school programs at a number of buildings here in the community. From then, when I retired, I became a Flint City Council person. I was on the Flint City Council for 5 years, and in that capacity, I was the vice president of the Flint City Council and also chaired the Major Grants Committee. In 2014, I then ran for the Genesee County Board of Commissioners, and I was successful. And I've been a member of the Genesee County Board of Commissioners since 2015.
So you have deep, deep roots in the community.
Absolutely.
It sounds. Can you talk a little bit about what is? I know that you're a Genesee County Commissioner. Well, let's talk about that. What does that mean to be to be the county commissioner?
Well, being a county commissioner means that we are in charge of taking care of the purse strings for the county. So we have the fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the tax money that we take in is actually spent correctly. And that's one of the charges that I have. Currently, I am the chair of the Government Operations Committee, which entails the circuit court, probate court, sheriff's department, prosecutor's office, animal control, and veterans affairs. So it's basically my charge to make sure that each department is running effectively and they're spending the money in which it should be spent.
That's pretty great. And what is Friends of Burston House?
Oh, that is my passion. I tell everybody all the time that what I do, I'm a county commissioner, but my real job is being the executive director of the Friends of Burston. The Friends of Burston is a recreational facility in North Flint. Actually, next year it will be 100 years old. And Burston has such a storied history here in the community. It was built in 1923, and when it was built, it was the first recreational facility in Genesee County that was integrated, and it was integrated in the 1930s. And Burston has an amazing history. A gentleman by the name of Neil J. Burston was a developer that moved here from South Dakota in the late 1800s, around 1898. And when he moved here, it was right during the time when the city of Flint was becoming a automotive town. And he started to buy property. He bought the first 60 acres from the Spencer family, and then he bought an additional 200 acres from the Dewey family. And he started to develop the area, and he started to build homes. And he became very well-to-do in the community. He was on the Flint Water Commission. He was on the Hurley Board of Managers at the time, and he was very well respected. Well, on October 16, 1916, he was in his office on Durand Street, and someone came in and murdered him. And it was an unsolved crime. So in 1920, his son, Neil J. Burston Jr., and his son, Charles J. Burston, actually donated the property to the city of Flint in perpetuity, and Burston Fieldhouse was actually built or completed in June of 1923.
So that's very shocking.
Yes.
Why do you think somebody that was doing such good for the community would be murdered?
That's one of the mysteries that we often talk about. I got a chance to meet Charles J. Burston's great-great-grandson and he gave me some news clippings on it, but it never's been solved. It's like one of the biggest mysteries because this guy was so well respected in the community and he did so much. They seem to think that it might have been a robbery gone wrong because where he was at on those days, it was a Sunday, normally the people that had worked in the plants would come and pay their rent. And they knew that, he could have a large sums of money. So they seem to think that it might have been a robbery gone wrong.
Wow. You mentioned that the Burston House, I'm sorry, I know that's not the real name, the Friends of Burston, is in North Flint, and it's a recreational facility. There was a woman here yesterday who does, her name is Jerry, you may know her. She runs a organization that tries to give the people of North Flint a voice. And she was talking about the various issues that are plaguing the community of North Flint. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are.
Well, the city of Flint has always had its challenges, especially in North Flint, because historically here in the community, the northern part of the city has not always got the resources that some of the other parts of the community has gotten. And over the years, we started to see despair in in that community, and that's why Burston is so important because it's given a beacon of hope to the folks in that community. One thing that's very unique about Burston Fieldhouse, it's open to a cross section of the community. We have a number of different programs. We have Creative Expressions Dance Studio, which has been in existence for 40 years, and we're going to be doing our 40-year recital right next door at the Whiting Auditorium in the end of April. We also have we also have the Chosen Few Arts Council, which is the fine arts program that teaches the fine arts, be it art, be it drama, be it pottery, and that is a great program. We also have can I start that over?
Absolutely.
Okay. We also have, I'm sorry,
No.
because that gets me every time. I'm sorry about that. We also have the Burston Bicycle Club, which is a bicycling program that teaches the fine art of bicycling in the community. And this is 2 8-week programs that we have for the kids between the ages of 7 and 17. And at the end of the 8 weeks, they get a complete bicycle packet. So when they come to the program, they don't need bikes. We have bikes there. We have a little classroom where we talk about the proper way of bicycling in the community, how to wear your helmet, how to ride with the flow of traffic, and the whole gamut. And that has been an amazing program over the last few years to be able to see 25 or 30 kids going down the street in a straight line, doing the proper things you do when you're doing biking. So it's just an amazing piece. And then we have FWC Burston Boxing, which is the home to Clarissa Shields, our Olympic gold medalist that won 2 gold medals in boxing, and now she's a world champion. So she actually started there at Burston Fieldhouse, and we're very, very proud of her. We have about 75 or 80 kids now in the program. All of the programs that we have there are basically free, except for the dance studio. With the dance studio, because you have recitals and other things you're doing, there is some cost associated with it. But the reason why we're able to offer these programs at a free or reduced cost is because of the art education and enrichment millage that the residents of Genesee County passed in 2018. It has been a lifesaver for an organization like ours because our organization is not a very big organization, but we have a great impact in North Flint. So that's some of the things that we're actually doing there and why programs like the Friends of Burston is so very important for the residents in North Flint.
Please tell me why the Friends of Burston House and these, dance and pottery and fine arts and biking and all these things, why is that important?
I feel that students need to have a well-rounded education, and in the city of Flint and in the Flint public schools now, first thing to go is the arts program, is the music program. So if you have some programs that are outside of the actual school day that are actually giving these kids an opportunity to experience these things, I think it gives them a well-rounded outlook on life, because you never know where the next great musician is going to come from, the next great artist. But in order to be able to really give those kids those experiences, you have to give them an opportunity to participate and see if they like these things or if they don't like them. So that's why organizations like the Friends of Burston and other organizations that are in North Flint and throughout the city of Flint and Genesee County are there to really just to enhance some of the things that we were so well known for a number of years. And that's why it's so important for like the Sloan Museum, the Flint Institute of Art, the Flint Institute of Music. All of these organizations are so very, very important because it's giving folks an opportunity to be able to participate. And especially since we got the millage a few years ago, because now it's opening up to a lot of folks that didn't know that they had these opportunities here in the community.
That's great. And besides learning to dance or learning the correct way to bike, in an urban environment and all these things, like what does it do to a young person emotionally and socially and to be exposed to the arts and to be...
I think that it allows them to have people skills because, in this technology age now, a lot of that interaction that we grew up with coming up, you don't have that as much because everybody's on their phone or doing some other things related to that, and they're more of individualized things that they're doing. But when you have things like this, it's more of a group setting, and I think that's how you build relationships. That's how you start to understand different people, different cultures, and it just makes you a well-rounded individual. That's what I've always believed in.
Sure, like opens you up, right?
Absolutely. And opens you up to a world that you might not even know existed.
So these programs are mostly for young people.
Yes, we do have programs for the adults as well. So most of the ones that I've been talking about have been for kids from the ages of, say, 4 years old all the way to 17, 18, 19 years of age. But we also have things for our seniors. We have a senior exercise class that meets on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And this seniors exercise class is open to anybody who wants to come and exercise. And even if you don't have the ability to be able to stand up and do your exercises, it's designed where you can sit in your chair and still be able to get the exercise in as well. And that's been really, really great for the community, and that's free to the public as well. And then we also have a senior line dance, and that is one of our big programs for the seniors. We have about 60 seniors that participate in that on Mondays and Wednesdays, and actually our seniors are going to be participating in the recital. They have a dance routine that they're going to do, and it's going to be great. They're going to be dancing to Wild Wild West by Will Smith. So we're excited to see how they're going to do with that. They were practicing the other day, and they had the cowboy hats on, and they had on their shirts with the cowboy boots on. It was just really, really nice. So, we have a lot of things that are going on. We also have a summer softball league at Burston that runs from Memorial Day through Labor Day, and it's been in existence for about 38 years. And on any given Sunday during that time, we might have anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000 people down at Burston on Sunday, and we're talking about a cross-section of the community. We have teams that come in from Fenn, from Davidson, Swartz Creek, all of the surrounding areas, and they come down, they bring their families, they tailgate, they have a great time. We have a good game on Sundays, or 4 or 5 good games on Sundays. At the end of the day, they go back home. And one of the great things about the softball league is we play a law enforcement every August, and we've played them for the last 5 years, and they have not gotten within 20 runs of beating us. Although last year was the first time that it was somewhat of a competitive game because our sheriff, Chris Watson, actually brought in some ringers, and he was the first one at bat, and he hit a home run. and we could not believe that. And we had to hear that for about 6 months after that he hit a home run against our All-Stars. So, we have a lot of great things that are going on. And one thing that's very important about Burston, even though it's in North Flint, and sometimes North Flint doesn't always get a very good rap, one thing about Burston is it's like hollow ground to the community. So if you come anywhere around Burston, people are very, very engaging. They take care of the property. They pick up behind themselves. They make sure though nothing happened, and it's just like a community. And that's why Burston is so very dear to so many people, I think, here in the community.
That sounds fantastic. Why? That sounds really amazing. How is that program, all of the things that Burston House offers, important to youth, particularly youth of Flint?
It's giving them an avenue to be great or to think beyond their general environment. So I think that that's one thing that's so unique about Burston, because we don't care what your skill level is, everybody's a winner at Burston. And we pride ourselves on that. And that's why we have such, I think, a great reputation here in the community, is because any and everybody can participate. If you come there, you can participate, and you're going to feel safe, and you're going to be appreciated for whatever your skills or your talents are. So that's one of the things that I think is so very important about Burston.
Well, what do you think that gives to a kid that they can take with them moving forward in life?
I think it builds character in the students that come through Burston, because one of the things that we find out, a lot of our students, when they graduate from high school and they may go away to college or go to trade school, whenever they're back in the community, they always come back and check on us and ask how things are going, or if there's anything that they can do. And that's one of the things that I think is more rewarding than anything else, being able to be a beacon of hope for the community and have those students come back and say what a great impact you may have had in their life or in where they're going in the future.
That's great. Sorry, I can't read my notes here. Can you talk about, because you've been here your whole life and you've seen so many things and been so involved in the community, can you talk about urban renewal? How did it change and how did it affect the city?
Flint has always been a one-horse town because of General Motors. So we never had a lot of diversification in terms of the economic climate here. And as the factories went, so did the city of Flint. So, and the county as well. So when we started to lose that tax base, that's when we saw a change in the direction of this county and also the city of Flint, definitely more so in the city of Flint. So we saw a shift in where resources are being used and being spent. And that's one of the things that we see now here in the community. You hear that a lot. There's disinvestment in North Flint, but we see a lot of investment in downtown Flint. We see a lot of investment here in the college cultural area. But we're not seeing that in some of the other parts of the community. And I think that's something that people are looking at, people are very cognitive of, and they're trying to make sure they're very intentional in how they're spending their dollars now. And we're starting to see people looking to invest in areas traditionally they had not invested in the last 15, 20 years. One of the prime examples is the Friends of Burston is engaged in a capital campaign right now. And we have some very, very good folks that are stepping up and helping us. And this capital campaign is a $15 million capital campaign, and we're already halfway there. And we're going to be breaking ground in late October, and it's going to change the whole dynamics of North Flint as we move forward, because you'll see something that's actually finally happening in North Flint that people can get behind and be really proud of.
So I would take from that you have a optimistic, hopeful feeling about forward. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, Flint has had its ups and downs, but we're a very resilient community. And I think that resiliency is what makes us so unique because we've been down so many times, but we get back up and we keep on pushing. And that's why I have the optimism that I have, is because I know where we've been and I know where we're going, and I see it. It's a bright future, and we were really moving in that direction prior to the water crisis, and then after that, then we had to deal with COVID. So I think that we're seeing a recharge of that, and we're starting to see things to start to take shape. So I think we're on the right road. We have some great organizations that are stepping up and doing some great things in the community, and they're being very inclusive in the things that they're doing. A prime example is this place, when it's up and running and open to the public, it's going to be really, really inviting to the entire area, where in the past other.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
It would be really great if you could say, a prime example is the Sloan Museum.
Okay.
Instead of just saying this place.
Yeah, the prime example is the Sloan Museum and how it is changing the perception, I think, in the community. Because in the past, a lot of people might not have had the knowledge of what Sloan Museum was all about. But with this new interactive museum that they're putting together and is going to be opening very soon, I think it's going to just change the perception of the community because it's going to be very inviting. You know, with all of the different things, and especially with us getting the art education and enrichment millage, it's going to help folks that might not have had the resources to be able to participate in things, be able to participate now because the prices are reduced or there's no cost at all. So I think that is going to be key as we move forward.
When you say all the things we've been through and where we're going versus where we come from, excuse me, can you just give me an overview? How has the face of this city changed over the past, 50 years?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, we were so dependent upon the automotive industry. And as the automotive industry started to move out and our tax base started to shrink, we started to become more of a college town, and I think more around the health industry. And I think that's where we're starting to see the change. And one of the things that I've seen over the last, say, 10, 15 years is we are losing a lot of our young folks. A lot of those people that could really take us to the next level, because there's not a whole lot of things for them to actually do here. We're seeing that they're leaving. But that's why a lot of these organizations now are looking at doing things to be able to be more inviting, to make it more friendly to, I guess, what do they call the young folks now? Generation X. See, I'm sorry.
I think I'm like just a millennial.
Okay. See, I was born in '65, so I don't know where I'm at. I don't know if I'm the baby boomers or right after the baby boomers. I'm sorry, but that's one of the things that we're actually seeing here, and it's a lot of conversations that have been taking place around making sure that you have things that will draw the millennials to want to stay, because we have some great educational institutions here. They're training up some great individuals, but once they graduate, they're leaving. We have to figure out a way to be able to keep them here and then make this place really, really inviting for them. One of the things that I think is really amazing, and we don't take enough advantage of it, is we have one of the best park systems in the state of Michigan. We have over 11,000 acres of park space here in Genesee County. The Genesee County Parks and Recs Department is by far one of the best in the state of Michigan. And we were just fortunate enough that we were the only county out of the 83, we were the only county that did not have a state park. And with the water restoration project that is taking place in downtown Flint, that's going to become Genesee County's first state park. So we are very excited about that. We have some great biking trails. You know, I ride my bike a lot, and that's something that a lot of people can take advantage of. And it's a lot of things that the families can do that we just need to do a better job of marketing and letting people know about it. Flint is a great place, and Genesee County is a great place to live.
I mean, it sounds like there's great potential here, but is there like a concrete presence, like what General Motors provided, which was a way to make money?
You know, well, with General Motors, primarily the workforce were high school educated individuals, and now with all of the technology and other things that you have in place, you have to have some skill sets. I think one of the opportunities that we have here in the community is in the skilled trades arena. We're finding that we are lacking in that area because if you look at the average age of most people that's in the skilled trades now, the average age are about 45. So we are very intentional in looking at ways that we can start apprenticeship programs to get people involved in that. And, you know, it's just you have to give kids an opportunity. One of the things that we had here that was really, really outstanding in the Flint Community Schools, we had an industrial arts program. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but industrial arts really taught you about if you didn't want to go away to college, these are skills that you could actually go into and make a very, very good living. You know, be it electricity or electrician or a plumber or welding and all of these different things. And I think we need to be very, very intentional in working with that because we have some non-traditional students now that might not want to go to college, but they might have the skill sets to be able to do that. So I think we have to be diversified in our workforce and think outside the box.
It's true, and that's a great. They're very lucky to have you here, thinking that way because it sounds like that's exactly what's needed. Is the water crisis still an ongoing thing? Is that over?
To be perfectly honest, I don't think it would ever be over because there's always going to be some mistrust in the community.
Sorry, if you could just say, I don't think the water crisis will ever be over.
I don't think the water crisis will ever be over. I think there's still a lot of mistrust in the community because of the lies or some of the misconceptions that were out as it relates to that. And there's a lot of hard feelings related to that. Even in our building right now, we still use bottled water, even though we have filters on our water fountains and all. Our students still prefer to have bottled water. And I think that is true throughout the city because people just don't trust what government said because government was the ones that actually lied to us and got us in a situation. And for full disclosure, I was actually on the Flint City Council when they switched the water. And I had questions and issues as it related to that when they were getting ready to do it. And because we were under the emergency financial manager, we as city council members did not have any power because the government had took over our day-to-day operations, and they would only let us meet on certain days for a certain amount of time. So that's one of the sore spots here in the community, and I think it's going to be there for some time. Even though we have this $620 million settlement for the water crisis, I don't think it's enough because, you know, it's so many folks that had to deal with so many different things, you know, not being able to take a shower, you know, had to go out and get bottled water, to have to, you know, get in your car and go stand in the line where they're giving out water and you get 24 cases and you might have to go to 3 or 4 different places to be able to get enough water to be able to do what you need to do. I think that is always going to be in the back of people's minds, but that's why I said this community is very resilient. You know, even though we had to go through that, we are still coming out and we're still pressing on and we're still moving forward.
I can see where the mistrust could last forever, but you're right. This is a resilient community. I mean, I live in New York, but I've always heard of various things about Flint, you know. The cars and then the lack of, and then leaving and,
It's rough.
you have an urban crisis a little bit. Can you talk about that? What is that?
I can just really talk a little bit about the Flint Community Schools. When I was coming through the Flint Community Schools, we had over 47 schools in the community. We had over 40,000 students. When I graduated from high school, we still had about 27 or 28,000. The last few years in the city of Flint, well, my graduating class, I went to Flint Central. My graduating class was 623 people. I still remember that. And we had 4 high schools. They only have 1 high school now, and I think they had a graduating class of 212. So just to see where we were, when I graduated, it was about 27,000. Now we probably have maybe 5,000 students in the Flint Community Schools. So you just see how things have changed and how we have to adjust. And that's why I say we're a very resilient community. Even though we've gone through all of this, we're still pressing on, we're still moving forward.
What kinds of things do you wish would happen?
That when we have resources come to the community, they're fair and equitable across the board.
I'm so sorry again. If you could say, one of the things I really want or something I wish for, whatever.
One of the things that I really would wish for in this community is that when resources come to the community, they're fair and equitable across the board, where each area of the community actually get the necessary resources to be sustainable and to benefit the entire, because I believe that if everybody is treated fairly, things will change here in the community. You can't have resources just going to one side and then you just disregard another side, because I think that's when we start to have a lot of the social ills that we see within the community. So I think we have to be very strategic in how we allocate resources.
What is a really great thing about Flint that you would like people to know?
The park system, because I'm an outdoor person, but I think that's one of the greatest things that we have here in this community is outstanding parks and recreational opportunities for people in the community. So I think that that's one of the greatest things that we have here. And then the other piece is the college cultural campus. And, all of them together are really great. And then, the Sloan Museum, when it opens, I think it's going to be a gem as well because of the interaction and being able to bring these classes and these students, and they can be introduced to things that they may have never thought about before. And then it's just going to open their eyes of the different things that's out there that they can do and they can be. So I think that, the parks, the Sloan Museum are 2 of the greatest pieces here in the community right now.
What can you say about the people of Flint?
We're very resilient. We get knocked down, but we get back up, we dust ourselves off, and we keep on pushing.
I really think that what you're doing with the Burston house sounds fantastic.
Thank you. If you guys would like to see a short video, it's about 6 minutes long, I gotta tell you, you will probably have a tear in your eye at the end. www.burston.org. As soon as you go to our webpage, it's right there at the beginning. It takes 6 minutes, and you'll see some of the foundations, key folks from the foundations in it. And you'll see a retired judge in it, and it tells the story of what Burston is all about and what Burston means to the city of Flint and to Genesee County as a whole.
Sounds like a real gem that people love.
Yeah, it is, and it's a cross section of the community, and you'll hear that in the video.